morning, everyone. It's really nice to be here, and thanks, Mo, for Lee for organising everything and inviting me along today. My name's James Stevens, and I work for the University of Cumbria. I'm the head of library services, so I'm a librarian, and I want to be fairly clear from the outset that I'm not an expert in the refugee or asylum seeking experience. But that is what I'm going to be talking about. So I wanted to be clear that I'm at the very beginning of a journey to understand the experiences that refugees and asylum seekers have when they arrive in the UK, but also the experiences they have in their host countries as well. And the University of Sanctuary is an award, an accreditation that I'm going to be involved in leading for the University of Cumbria, and primarily that's what I'm going to be talking about today, is what it means to be a University of Sanctuary, what are the steps that we've got to take in order to be a genuine University of Sanctuary. I've always felt, I was talking to my new friend Lena at the front here, that libraries have been a place of sanctuary. They certainly have for me, and I know they are for a lot of our students. And in fact, when I was a younger person, my local public library was a place of sanctuary from me. And I think I want our university's experience as well to be a place of sanctuary for people. So even though this is my very first step on this journey, I'm reassured by I think it was Lao Tzu who's been accredited by saying the journey of 1,000 miles starts with a single step. So this is my first step, and I'm not going to be doing this on my own. Of course, it's going to be a team of people across the university, and more importantly, actually beyond the university in terms of community groups and the university and the City of Sanctuary, University of Sanctuary organisation. And we have a coordinator already called Marianne, and she's been very kindly sent me some slides that I've used to and manipulated to use today. So what I want to do is I'll start. I'm not going to be running around doing that, by the way. If they fall, they fall. We'll deal with that. Suggest some strong glue tack next time. Right. To begin with, I really want to give a little bit of an origin story of both the City of Sanctuary and University of Sanctuary organisation. Possibly in this room there are people here already involved and already more knowledgeable than I am. So if that's the case, then apologies, and remember my mission at the beginning that this is part of a journey for me as well. I want to talk about why I think it's important that the University of Cumbria becomes a part of this movement, this organisation, and I want to give you an idea of what kinds of things the University of Cumbria will need to do in some detail in terms that we can become a genuinely accredited University of Sanctuary as part of this movement. So we're talking to Melina as well about what a good word sanctuary is, and I think, can't remember it now, I found the Irish word for sanctuary recently, and that was a beautiful word as well. I wish I could remember it. But the notion of sanctuary, I suppose, then, is that it's people who can seek safety from danger, from persecution, from prejudice. And I think it's sadly probably very easy to imagine if you are a forced migrant coming into the UK, that maybe your first experiences won't always be positive ones or ones of welcome. They could be easily, if you look at social media or even the news sometimes, they may encounter hostility and a sense of unwelcoming, which is sadly the truth. We need to face the truth. But to address this, I think it was in 2005, so a wee while ago, the city of Sheffield, or a group of people in Sheffield who decided they'd like to show people that their city was a place of welcome. And they wanted their city to be a safe space and to have a culture of hospitality and welcome where refugees and anyone seeking sanctuary could be understood, could be respected, and should have dignity. Okay, so basically University of Sanctuary was set up to be an answer, a positive answer, to ignorance, to fear, polarisation. And this idea spread, I suppose it did speed as well, but it spread very quickly across different cities. And not just cities, but also other organisations became organisations of sanctuary. So you had universities, which is what I'm talking about today. You had universities of sanctuary, gardens of sanctuary, you had arts venues of sanctuary, libraries of sanctuary, and many others. So the University of Sanctuary sits within a kind of a network, if you like, of places or streams of sanctuary. I felt like that phrase, stream of sanctuary. With City of Sanctuary being the umbrella organisation. I know that Lancaster, where we have a campus, and also Carlisle, where we obviously have a campus, you're here, they're already members of City of Sanctuary. You may not know, we also have campuses, University of Cumbria in Ambleside. We also have new campus developments happening in the future in Barrow. We also have a campus in London, Tower Hamlets. So we've got to think about what it means to be sanctuary for all those different parts of our campus spread. Okay. Right, I'm going to go on to my next slide, and I'm going to play you a video about City of Sanctuary to give you an idea of what they stand for and what they're about.
City of Sanctuary is a movement dedicated to supporting a network of groups across the UK, all in an effort to make sure that we create a culture of welcome.
People seeking sanctuary is a term we use to include anyone seeking safety, whether they have a legal status of a refugee or not.
There are over 120 cities and towns and areas and villages of sanctuary, and there are universities of sanctuary, theatres of sanctuary, schools of sanctuary. What that means is that there are thousands, hundreds of thousands of small acts of welcome and hospitality, safety, sanctuary, human beings appreciating, valuing each other, countering hostility with hospitality.
My name is Shams. I live in Darlington. I've been living in Darlington for the last 4 years. I'm a community champion, activist, and most of all, I'm a City of Sanctuary ambassador. As any country, when you first arrive, you don't know anyone. It's quite challenging times for you. The turning point for me was the fact that City of Sanctuary has helped me when I basically joined the City of Sanctuary Ambassadors group. It has helped me to start campaigning and find my footing. It's not working.
I'm standing here right outside the Sanctuary Centre in Sheffield. This is where it all began in the year 2005, when all the organisations, a huge number of them, working with refugees and people seeking sanctuary in Sheffield, came together and pledged themselves to work together so that we can really shift the culture of our whole city to build here a culture of welcome and hospitality, safety and sanctuary. This, years ago, is where the Northern Refugee Centre was. So you can see where the sanctuary office is now in Sheffield. It's a very loud and proud centre. We don't hide what we do, we don't keep it under the radar. It's in a tiny little alleyway. Things have moved on from it.
My name is Sarah Truitt. I work for City of Sanctuary UK. I have my own story of migration. I arrived in the UK in 2009. I came at a time of bereavement for myself, but I was supported and welcomed by community structures, new friends, and institutions like the NHS. I want to work to help create a UK that welcomes everyone who arrives here. One of my passions in working with City of Sanctuary is working with the Schools of Sanctuary Network. We work with over 300 schools across the UK to help them learn about why people are on the move and what they can do to support new arrivals into the UK. Every day I'm inspired by examples of empathy, compassion, and inclusion from across the UK. from places like my small town in Ripon, where over 8 schools are on the journey to becoming schools of sanctuary, to big cities that are adopting sanctuary buddy schemes to help welcome new arrivals. That's building up a generation of people who understand why people seek sanctuary.
My highlight is get to meet so many wonderful people giving their time to support you when they don't have to. You know, when they have nothing to gain, they just give their time and their commitment to help you and to make you feel welcome and to basically make you feel belonging.
It is possible. We can work together and we can make a difference.
From small acts of kindness to big political changes, this radically inclusive movement is building a better, fairer, kinder society for everyone.
Okay, so that's the umbrella organisation of City of Sanctuary, which the University of Sanctuary stream will be a part of. Now, forgive me, I'm a librarian, so I have to, I'm recommending a book. It's called 100,000 Welcomes, and it's the story, the history of City of Sanctuary. It's only $3.99 on Kindle, and I don't get a cut, by the way, for it. But I thought what I'd do is I'd read you they're full of very short little stories for people. There's a history of the organisation, but most of the book is full of individual people's stories. So I'm going to just quickly read you Veronica's story. Veronica is the chair of the University of Sanctuary Appraisal Committee in Ireland. So this is also, they're very active City of Sanctuary and University of Sanctuary network in Ireland as well. So she says, like many Irish people, I lived abroad, in my case for over a decade. Returning to Ireland to an academic post in Dublin City University, my own experience with immigration made me especially aware of how challenging and frightening it must be when foreignness is mixed with not understanding the language, being subjected to racial discrimination and the vagaries of the asylum system. Ireland had become much more multicultural, and although our refugee numbers were small, they were increasing. I was keen to find out what was happening in the direct provision centres, and to ensure my research and teaching included an accurate look at what was happening on the doorstep. Before long, I had several good friends in nearby Bosnia, a disused holiday camp hosting over 600 asylum seekers and refugees. Many of the women, disempowered by the tiny allowance, cramped living conditions, and the sense of isolation, were bored. They loved the idea of a book club, and I found Dublin City University an easy place to run a fundraiser and find a refugee-friendly bookshop willing to give us a big discount. The atmosphere of relaxed sharing drew out deeper stories. One woman was heartbroken that her daughter had successfully completed her state leaving certificate exam, but was now languishing in the centre while her friends prepared to go to universities and colleges all over the country. Her first choice of university was DCU. She'd been accepted but was unable to take up the place because of the fees. I decided to bring the matter to colleagues, and before long we'd secured a scholarship and the delighted student was able to enrol. Philip, the person she was working with, and her felt strongly that this should not be a one-off dependent on knowing someone in the university, but should be embedded into the culture of the university. So conversations coincided with the City of Sanctuary National Conference taking place in Dublin, and we decided to go along. We joined the workshop about the new idea of universities of sanctuaries. There were already lots of welcoming activities going on within the university, such as various outreach programs in nearby direct provision centres, in ESOL classes in the university. And one of our aims was to get a generous scholarship programme in place offering free university education to asylum seekers. For this, we would need commitment from the senior management team. We had a meeting, and the next day, Philip and I were summoned to meet the university president. To our amazement and delight, he not only welcomed the idea of DCU becoming a recognised University of Sanctuary, he had already been reading the handbook to find out exactly what it would involve. That's just a bit I'm going to stop at that point. It does go on a little bit, but she was obviously seeing an opportunity within the university sector to contribute to the what was going on in her community, I think this is where we are now, really, as a University of Cumbria. And I recommend this book again as well about, I think sharing the stories is so important. I think it always has been for human beings, sharing the stories. And there's a nice quote here from Xavier Zazai, who is the Afghan refugee and chair of City of Sanctuary, who says, sharing our stories is key to creating and understanding the connectedness we all long for. And I think that's true. I think it's all about connectedness. So, I'm going to go on to my next slide here. So the University of Sanctuary Network is not as long established as City Sanctuary. It wasn't really until 2018 that the University of Sanctuary became an official stream of the City of Sanctuary. And the network was developed really through a partnership between two other big organisations and other organisations as well, but mainly through Article 26 and Student Action for Refugees, who are often known as STAR. So Article 26 is a project as part of the Helena Kennedy Foundation, which works with universities mainly to help us build up scholarships for refugees. And STAR as well have also campaigned for years for equal access for students. And part of it is kind of not seeing refugees and asylum seekers as international students in a sense, but seeing them as genuine community students who need a place at the university. So even though City of Sanctuary is quite long-standing, 2005, City of Sanctuary is only quite new, 2018. And so far there are 28 awarded universities, so across the UK there are 28, not including Ireland actually, 28 awarded universities who are already successful in their application and their accreditation to become known as University of Sanctuary. I'll quickly just show you who they are. So you can see that that's the current list of if anyone's alumni from any of those universities, but that's the current list. I would love to see the University of Cumbria's name appear on that list at the commencement, the conclusion of this first part of the journey, which is the application process, of course. And there are about 50 universities also working towards University of Sanctuary status as well, so on top of the 28. And they include quite a lot of the universities are also in the Cathedrals group that the University of Cumbria are a part of. So if I go to my next slide. This is a slide that Marianne gave me to try and she gave me some of these slides to try and influence people in the university why we should become part of University of Sanctuary. And she's very clear that actually the award itself is not the destination, that's the beginning of the journey. So all of this is a very, very long journey. Marianne did tell me that actually most universities take 2 years to do all the work that's required to be able to get their application together. So once you've got the award, of course, that isn't the end of the journey, that's what she's saying. So 2 years of hard work and you're not even really at the starting line. But that's why we need that dedication and that energy and support across the university and beyond to do it. And I think I like this last bullet point here, which says the notion of sanctuary fits with the values of most universities. And so I thought I'd say a little bit about the University of Cumbria here. So I'll read the bit that says transforming lives, because I really like this bit. This is a part of our Towards 2030 strategy, which is all open on our website for you to have a look at. But it says we are the University of Cumbria for and from Cumbria and our localities, rooted in and serving our communities with people, place and partnership at our heart. So I think people, place and partnerships, I think that ties in perfectly with the University of Sanctuary. I think the word heart in there is really important to me as well. I think this does come from the heart. We need to be clear that we mean what we say when we say that we care for our students, graduate staff, our communities, our region, the environments, and the world. I mean, that's pretty big. But we do that. And actually, it's part of the being part of the Cathedrals group as well. They, two of the members are already University of Sanctuary, that's York, St John and Winchester University. So it would be great to join them in becoming University of Sanctuary. The Cathedrals Group, I love what they stand for. And they say they believe in education for the whole person, and that they talk about higher education experience being more than just what you earn when you graduate. It's about belonging, it's about welcome, it's about progressing in yourself. You know, they talk about, they emphasise well-being, they emphasise wisdom, wider potential, alongside academic excellence, of course. So we are still an academic institution, but there's more to it, isn't there? There's more to an university experience than just the qualification you get and what you earn when you graduate. So these are things that I well, personally can buy into, and I think get behind and feel passionate about. Most spoke, beginning, she's still here, I can't see it, about passion, she's out there. But I think that is important. I've just got a slide here, conscious of the time, I've got about under 5 minutes. Yeah. So these are some of the barriers here that refugee asylum seekers face if they're starting to think about getting a university degree or having a university experience. And they're in 4 different themes, if you like, here, or categories. And this comes from another book. Well, it's not really a book, it's a document called Education for All, and that's an Article 26 document. If anyone's interested, I really recommend it. It's really, really helpful, setting out exactly what universities need to do in order to be able to fund scholarships and to provide the experience that the refugees and asylum seekers will need. It's not a quick read, it's about 117 pages long, but it's definitely worth it, and one that I keep going back to and back to. These things probably are all, once you look at them, you think, yes, of course, don't you, really, I think. And some of the personal things as well about mental and physical health. You think of some of these people, the experiences they've been through, you know, and I will be continuing to go through, and it's important that that idea that the education for the whole student that we talk about is where this comes into the fore, I think, here. And we really want to make sure that there's always a welcome in Cumbria, North Lancashire and Tower Hamlets for those students, and to play a part as a university to try and mitigate the things that are on this list here. Okay, so what do we have to do as the University of Cumbria? It's part of our application. As part of the application, there are 3 main principles, key principles for University of Sanctuary and City of Sanctuary. And these 3 principles, by the way, not just for University of Sanctuary, the 3 principles are cut across all those streams. So the City of Sanctuary, the Schools of Sanctuary, the Gardens of Sanctuary, they all have to adhere to these 3 core principles here. So the first one, learn, is about what it means to be learning about what it means to be seeking sanctuary, both in general for the community where we're situated, but also specifically in the context of higher education and the campus environment. And I've got some examples of what other universities have done under these 3 categories in order to be successful. So some universities have done things like inviting sanctuary-seeking people into the university to share their stories. We talked about stories being important before, about including asylum and refugee topics into our curriculum. So when we're teaching the courses that we teach, we take that on board. Producing a new learning module all about the experiences of being asylum-seeking people, refugees. Pulling together a working group across the university and beyond. Now we're already on to that one, so that's something I can nearly take off, not quite, but nearly. So that's the examples of learn. So it's really about us learning about as much as possible and getting empathy. Empathy was talked about before, understanding people's experiences. Now embedding is where we have to show action. This is where we have to show that we mean what we say and that we are actually doing things, and that the main thing will be the bursaries and scholarships. so providing bursaries and scholarships, and there's a lot involved in that. You know, it involves every aspect of the university, from admissions through pastoral support, academic support, of course, and everything. Development of a support staff group, using the University of Cumbria Student Union Group to set up organisations and societies, making sure our admissions processes are flexible and that the students are supported all the way through the journey. There's a lot of things that we have to do in that embed place, but the main thing I think will be getting the bursaries set up. Now we have to actually, not only do we have to set up the bursary, we have to have somebody in receipt of a bursary before we can even submit our application. So there's a lot of work to do there. And then the sharing of the achievements is engaging like this with colleagues internally and externally, making sure that we are being consistent and persistent with this, talking about sanctuary and involving communities in talking with us and about this journey. So those are the three key principles that we've got to adhere to. And this is what a university sanctuary would look like when we're successful. Being positive about this. So the appraisal process basically is that we will do this work alongside our coordinator, who's Marianne, and then once we are ready to submit, there's an appraisal panel, and that panel will be people on University Sanctuary, also people from local communities. So people in this room may even be asked at some point, you know, is the University of Cumbria doing what it says it's doing in this application? We'll have a visit from the appraisal team. We'll do a presentation as well, and an official launch celebration, which will be nice. So that's the thing, you know. It's about celebrating achievement as well. So, but like I said, it's going to be Marianne said at least 2 years. Most universities. Not very long now, but I just wanted to mention some of the organisations we're already starting to work with external to the university. In Carlisle, you've got Carlisle Longworth. I'm not sure if Adrian's in the room today. I don't think so. Obviously, Multicultural Cumbria. I won't say anything about what they do, but I think that might be. And also CRAG, which is the Cumbria Refugee Action Group. Yeah. So we're already in discussion with Yomi Mo and CRAG around one kind of possible work stream, which is about providing support for refugee students who are struggling with homework, so maybe using some of our students, and also supporting the parents of those students in terms of helping their students with their homework and their own English language. That's something that we would definitely one of the streams that we'll be looking at throughout this. Global Link and East Meets West, these are two organisations based in Lancaster that I'm working with at the moment, and I'm looking for some easy wins, quick wins, and there's two there with me in libraries, so I've got some autonomy with the library. I'm working with Lancaster University Library. I'm partnering with them to offer what we're calling a community card for these groups to be able to use our libraries as a place of sanctuary. We want to develop a community collection so they can come and borrow books, and we also, that's both universities by the way, we're applying for some funding to give them transport. University of Cumbria is quite central in Lancaster. Lancaster University is a bus ride out, so we're trying to make sure we've got some money so they can go up to Lancaster University as well. So I think those connections across universities are just as important. And of course we need to work with the local government, the refugee resettlement schemes and programmes. And we have got some names already to reach out to. So that's our journey so far. Our EDIW, who Lee is very much involved with, our Equality, Diversity, Inclusion and Wellbeing Committee, has given the green light for us to start this work. We have registered our interest with the organisation, University Sanctuary Organisation. We've got Marianne, who's going to be our coordinator. We are in the process of coordinating a working group, and it's going quite well. I've got lots of people across the university who are dedicating to this. I spoke already about some of the work streams that we might be working on. The most important one is the scholarship though, and the bursary. That's the one that's going to take up, I think, most of the work. soft launch our interest is today, so this is the first time I've spoken about it in public. But we will also do another launch of this where we invite lots of people, and Marianne said she would come along and do a talk all about University of Sanctuary. So that's it from me. So thank you very much for listening.